Let's check out some powerful moments of animals being freed for the first time. These 3 leopards had never stepped foot in a real forest their whole lives until that moment. The vets who cared for this chimp insisted on setting him free themselves, and as a thank you, they got a big hug. After so many years and so many flights from one vet clinic to another, this tiger didn't even get scared anymore. But this was his last flight because this time, the destination was freedom. All these monkeys lived in cages, just waiting to be bought by hunters. But those days were over. Now they could live again. This young guy had one goal: to free as many birds as he could. Good thing he made it happen. It took a minute for this rhino to realize what was going on, but soon enough, he ran off to enjoy his freedom. Letting this polar bear back into the wild wasn't going to be easy. He weighed over 450 kilograms, but this team was ready to do whatever it took. Now imagine spending 3 years being used in lab experiments. That's what these chimps went through, but now they could finally live free. These others weren't as lucky. They were test subjects for around 40 years. That's the average lifespan for a captive chimp, meaning he may have only known freedom in his final years. Elephants are some of the most abused wild animals. This one was even kept in chains. But now he could finally live free. Looking at those scared eyes, you'd never guess how happy she'd be just seconds later when she set foot in her natural habitat for the first time. This team wanted so badly to return this polar bear to the wild, they launched a huge operation. Because of his size and weight, they had to fly him by helicopter, but the job wasn't done yet. The flight had to be at low altitude, so it would take longer than usual, and the bear could wake up at any moment. Luckily, everything went well, and the bear arrived safely in his new home. Sometimes the desire to be free is so strong that animals can't even wait to get to the release spot. Like this tiger, who decided to finish the walk on his own. Another one in a big rush was this wolf. The guys tried to remove the poles holding him, but he ran off with one still attached. Don't worry, soon after, he managed to break free and continued on his way. As soon as he figured out where he was, this armadillo sprinted into the bushes, chasing his life back. This was the first time this bear was actually having fun. He'd spent his whole life locked in a cage so small he couldn't even stand up. Looks like something out of a movie, but it's just a mama pig and her piglets super happy because they were rescued from a slaughterhouse. Now they could all run free for the rest of their lives. After healing from his injuries, this tiger got a second shot at life, far from human contact. He ran for it. A month after breaking his wing, this condor could finally spread it again and fly. This eagle spent about a year recovering from injuries, but now her big moment had come. This polar bear ended up 120 kilometers away from home, so locals came together to help the big guy get back. Sometimes the easiest things seem hard when animals return to the wild, especially after years in a cage, like this deer. But what matters is they don't give up. They'll do anything to be free. This one here was rescued thanks to something totally unexpected, a future construction project in the area. But first, here's the story of a hippo that hunters nearly killed, just before animal protectors stepped in and took him to a sanctuary. Now he was finally at peace. Fun fact, in his new home, he was the only male. After attacking dogs in a village, this tiger was moved to a safe place, for him and for everyone else. This giraffe took a wrong turn and ended up in the middle of civilization, stuck. Thanks to the fire department, she got back on her feet and made her way home. A construction site ended up saving this bear's life. No one knows how he got there, but if the backhoe hadn't been called to tear up the old sewer line, he could have died. Good thing that didn't happen. He got to return to his normal life. As soon as this lion saw the gate was open, he didn't think twice. He bolted toward freedom. The transport box didn't fully open, but that didn't stop this eagle from flying off into freedom across the sky. This duckling's family was desperate, waiting for him, but he was stuck between some rocks. A woman walking by saw what was happening and decided to help. Thanks to her kindness, this family was together again. This leopard had to get surgery, but could barely wait to be free again. This giraffe got stranded after a flood, with dozens of crocodiles around, ready to end her life. But first, check this out. Over 600 white-winged parakeets flew free again after being rescued from an illegal wildlife trade. It's sad, but giraffe populations are shrinking, so seeing these 4 return to the wild is a big deal. After months learning how to hunt, this cheetah could finally go back to nature. This skunk looked like he couldn't even believe he was free again, in a place totally safe for him. But within moments, he vanished into the forest. It just took some time for this fox to go from extremely aggressive to a free, happy animal in the wild. This crocodile had taken several lives in a village, so they thought there was no choice but to put him down. But thanks to a brave team, he got a second chance, far away from civilization. Sadly, this leopard ended up in the streets of India after being separated from his group, but luckily he found some good people who helped get him safely back to the wild. Now imagine living in a tiny space with 12 other animals. That's what this tiger went through, and unfortunately something terrible happened. But first, just know that freeing an animal isn't always simple. Even the best intentions can lead to dangerous situations. After all the orangutans were released, he finally calmed down and found his way. This one didn't get that the people were trying to help. He went at them like they were threats. Not even the elephant stepped in, but soon he was on his way. This is Hoover, the only survivor out of 12 tigers who were kept in a cramped cage. A rescue group gave him a new home, full of freedom he'd never known. Something similar happened with this lion. He lived in a completely unfit place before being rescued. The look on his face is powerful, like he's in awe of how good freedom can be. Good thing the rescuers were smart enough to run away from the trailer before that bear came out. The first place he headed to was the front cabin. After a terrible flood, this giraffe got stuck on an island surrounded by crocodiles. A few more days there, and that could have been the end of her. But a rescue team took on the mission and saved her. Now she can run safely, far from crocodiles. It might sound fake, but this 500 kilograms, 4.7 meter long crocodile was being kept in captivity. After being rescued, he could finally live free where he truly belonged. It's really something to watch the fear in these animals' eyes turn into hope and happiness. Thanks to this slow motion footage, we saw that happen with this ocelot. This man decided to help a badger get his freedom back, even though it wasn't all that easy.
No, there you go.
But sometimes helping an animal get back to freedom means more than just opening a gate. This man had to lead an entire herd of bison back into the wild. These wild sheep were in danger out in the desert, so protectors gathered a group of 51, helped them form a flock, and released them where they could now live free, while looking out for each other. This slide might look like fun and games, but it was how this group helped set these turtles free.
Let's do that again. There you go, Pumpkin. Go find your mom.
They'll probably never see each other again, but this moment will stay with these men forever. The crew on this ship was shocked when out of nowhere they found a coyote in the middle of the ocean. But before we get into his story, look at this ferret, so scared he didn't even realize the man was helping. He just wanted to be free. Why did all these people gather? To watch these African penguins return home. Because of a piece of plastic, this sea lion nearly died, but thanks to these protectors, he's safe now and ready to enjoy his freedom again. After a full year of medical treatment, this snake got to go home, twice the weight and super healthy. She looked so at ease, like she'd never even left. This big guy needed a little push to get back into his habitat. Eustace, he was rescued by a local community, then taken far away where he could live peacefully.
very good.
Very good. छोड़ देगा वो अभी.
How this coyote ended up in the ocean is still a mystery, but he got lucky when this ship passed by. They gave him a ride back to solid ground, safe and sound. You've probably never seen this animal in your life, but these are saigas. They were bred in Russia and released into the wild to help bring the species back. And these two dolphins got stranded on a beach, but thanks to protectors, who know this is a common problem in the area, they made it back to their home safely. This hyena didn't seem too happy at first, but she definitely knew she was finally free again. The freedom of this Mexican wolf pair also means hope for the whole species. They're endangered, so every release is a big win. Sometimes human cruelty reaches even huge animals like these crocodiles, but luckily that wasn't the case here. A university tagged this one with GPS to learn more about its behavior, and he gets to enjoy his freedom safely. This panther truly earned her freedom. She was hit by a car and after 2 years of recovery finally got to go back into the wild. 11 zebras were taken to a new home where they could finally feel safe, protected, and free. These penguins now live safely in this bay inside a protected marine area. They're part of an endangered species, so extra care is everything. You can see how happy these cows are. This is a tourist event that happens every spring in the Netherlands, when the animals are released into the pasture to enjoy their freedom. Regularly, hundreds of pigeons are set free, both to live wild and to help balance nature. It creates one of the most beautiful freedom scenes ever. These foxes got their freedom back after spending weeks recovering. They were rescued and cared for until they were strong enough to live normally again. Living in the wrong place, this mother and her baby were in real danger near humans, so they were taken somewhere far from threats, big enough for them to explore. But more emotional than seeing animals regain freedom is seeing babies experience it for the first time. Let's take a look at some of those stories now. After weeks of feeding and care to help them gain weight, these 10 orphaned seal pups were finally free to live. These 3 bears were abandoned by their mom while still babies, but a group of activists rescued them, fed them, and taught them how to survive on their own in nature. Now they can live free and wild again. He was just a baby when he was rescued, but thanks to a team that taught him how to survive in the wild, this panda could be free again. These 328 baby turtles would have never made it if it weren't for kind humans. Now they're free and ready to explore the ocean. For these 2 orphaned otter pups, this was the best day of their lives. They were back home. What a powerful scene. Thanks to these protectors, these orphaned elephants were brought back to the wild. Now they can live like a real family, exactly where they belong. Pippa and Pooh, 2 bear cubs, were rescued and trained to survive in the wild with freedom. It'd be a tough journey, but the whole team believed they could make it. These 2 black bears lost their mother and had to go through rehab to learn how to live on their own in the wild. Now they'd face the world without a guardian, but at least they had each other.